Hey friends, Sam Haymart for Test Driven TV. Today I'm test driving the 2015 Dodge Challenger RT. They've done a number of changes and upgrades for 2015, and this is our opportunity to see how well they translate to a better driving experience. Okay, we have just a couple housekeeping items to get over just before we get started, and that is, first of all, I know it's raining outside. That's why I'm sitting in here. If you look at some of the other shots in our video today, you're going to see that it's sunny and bright. I have a lot of film student types that like to critique our videos for things like continuity and visual things like that, and while I appreciate that, let's just go start this thing knowing that I'm well aware of that fact, so save your comments, please. Now, if you're a car guy, the other thing is actually the most important thing I want to share with you is that if you know my background, I'm a Mustang guy. I know Mustangs inside and out. I've owned dozens of them in my lifetime, and I've test driven almost every Mustang model in recent times. I publish the MustangNews.com. So if you're one of my Mustang friends, yes, I'm crossing over a little bit here driving the competition. But if you're a Dodge guy, yeah, I'm a noob here. This is one of my first 4 or 5 times behind the wheel of one of the Chrysler muscle products. So if I come off like a noob, don't beat me up, all right? You might be surprised at how fair I might just be here. So there's that. Let's go.
Switching to the sunny day shots, we can see the Dodge Challenger RT got some visual updates for 2015. A new front fascia has a much deeper chin opening for a more aggressive look that comes off well. A new projector headlamp treatment with LED halos ups the ante, while a split grille treatment also gives some homage to the 1971 Challenger. Out back is a new lower fascia with square exhaust tips. The taillight panel is new too, with a split design and piano black surround. Standard or 20-inch wheels, which fill their holes well, mounted up with P245 45R20 Firestone Firehawk GTVs. The visual upgrades are just enough to keep this retro look fresh among its competitors, short of a complete redesign. The interior of the 2015 Challenger is all new, however, and this is a good thing as the first generation's cabin was nothing to write home about. Here, a brand new dash, door panels, and console bring significantly higher quality.
Now this interior is the base interior. It's got cloth seats, the base audio system, and you know what? I kind of like that. It's very rare that I actually get a base model of any car to test drive. Most of the time, they give us these fully loaded cars with leather, every single infotainment option that there is, sunroof, everything else, and that's all great stuff, but I like to get the base model occasionally to see what most people actually buy and what it's actually like to live with.
Those cloth seats have a retro houndstooth material which grips you well and has enough natural fiber in it to keep the humidity from making you sticky. The chairs are very comfortable and offer more range of adjustment than I needed. In the base trim, driver gets a 6-way adjustable seat with lumbar, but the seat back recline adjustment is still manual. A nice thick leather-wrapped steering wheel with audio controls is standard. Center stack controls, well, not really a stack I guess, but they're well laid out and simple to use down on the console. In the RT, the shift knob is leather too. The standard display audio system has a 5-inch touchscreen with hard control buttons on the side. Sound through its 6 speakers is adequate using AM/FM or connected to your device via ports or Bluetooth. A CD player is in fact a thing of the past across the lineup, regardless of which optional audio system you might upgrade to. A sign of the times, I guess. A nice standard though is a 7-inch reconfigurable instrument cluster display which has performance pages where you can do things like time your 0 to 60 acceleration. The cluster has a nice quality look to it and is very easy to use.
This new interior for 2015 has a much higher quality feel. I like the design. It's very retro. It really does look almost plucked right out of the 70s model. But the big thing is, what isn't retro is the quality feel in here. This is a very tight, very solid interior, not a single rattle. So you know, it doesn't feel like something from the 70s. It looks of high quality, it feels of high quality, and I give top marks to this interior.
What's under the hood is the latest iteration of the 5.7-liter Hemi V8 with 372 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque when mated to the 8-speed automatic. It would have 375 horsepower and 410 pound-feet of torque with the manual. It has MDS cylinder deactivation, which can pull it back to 4 cylinders at cruising speed on the highway to save fuel. The transition between 4 and 8 cylinders is noticeable but not annoying.
I'm sure the big question many have is, how did it go? Well, let's find out. Did go. Now, one thing I'll tell you is that I'm well aware of the fact that this doesn't have nearly as much power as the base V8 in the Mustang or the Camaro, but what it does have is a great sound. And when you combine that with the fact that this engine really sort of falls in a middle ground between the base V6 and the more optional, more powerful V8s that you can get in this car, that being the 6.4 liter with 485 horsepower, as well as the new 6.2 supercharged Hellcat. Wow, that's got 707 horsepower. So when it comes to power, there are other options. I like this engine because if you're looking at a daily driver, it gives you fuel economy that might be closer to that V6, but you still get that V8 rumble and the V8 sound. Not a bad way to go.
I saw 0 to 60 times in the mid 5-second range in a few unscientific tests. Traction offered up by the rear tires is pretty good with only a little bit of slip before they hook up well. The traction and stability control didn't seem to be all that nanny-like either. I like the new 8-speed automatic transmission, which clicks off shifts firmly and quickly. You can shift manually with the console shifter or the steering wheel mounted buttons, and with sport mode it really follows orders.
Now, most people in the automotive realm, particularly the Chrysler automotive realm, are well aware of the fact that the chassis underneath this car was loosely derived from the Mercedes-Benz E-Class back in the day when it was first designed. Nowadays, the Camaro and the Mustang have caught up. They both have IRS, they both have a dual ball joint front suspension, just like this does now, and so they sort of caught up in terms of specification. Now, how is this doing? Well, I think it's aged pretty well. It still feels fresh to me. The suspension and its tuning do a pretty good job of handling the weight of this car, and with its large wheels, it still offers up a very good ride and one that's quiet.
Steering for 2015 is now electrically power assisted and offers a different feel than before. Some may miss the old school feel of the hydraulic rack, but I think this one works adequately, and with sport mode you get a heavier feel. The RT gets 13.6-inch front and 12.6-inch rear performance disc brakes with improved pads, which do a nice job of pulling the nearly 4,100-pound Challenger down from speed. You can get larger binders with the RT Scat Pack that do even better.
One thing that this car does get a lot of ribbing for is its weight, and it should. It is one of the heavier cars in its class. But the good news is this chassis and the suspension still does a pretty good job of not only controlling it, but giving it athletic reflexes. When you're back here on a windy road, it doesn't feel like it's too heavy. Now granted, when we tested the RT Shaker on the racetrack last fall, that weight was something that we did really notice.
Being a large heavy brick, the 2015 Challenger RT is rated at 16 mpg city, 25 mpg highway, and 19 mpg combined. I was, however, able to observe a healthy 22 mpg combined this week, which I was impressed with, even with all my loving that power.
Well, folks, as I'm heading home and wrapping up this test drive, I have to say I was very impressed with the Challenger this week. So much impressed that it went on my I Buy It list for 2014. And honestly, that's a really big step for me. I'm a Mustang guy. I'm not supposed to like the other guys, but you know something? This car is well built. This new interior really just sold me. It's one of the best interiors in any Chrysler product that I've tested in a very long time. I really think they did a good job here. And the rest of the package, I like the size and feel of this car. A lot of people complain because it's big and heavy, but you know something? For a daily driver, this just feels like a nice, solid car to get in. It's very comfortable. I like this V8, but when I say I'd buy it, let me at least tell you that that would include any motor that comes in this car, and I've driven all of them except for that Hellcat. That'll be coming very soon, I hope. That said, be it a V6, be it the 6.4, or this engine, I'd buy it with any one of those engines depending on what I needed the car for. Now, as we scored it this week, it did very well. I really found very little that I could complain about. The technology, I want to point out, this is a base model. There's very little technology here. It's still got 5 stars, but you know, sometimes simple's better. What is here works very well. It's easy to use, so 5 stars. And that translates to a complete score of 5 stars for the week. I'm Sam Haymart for Test Driven TV. I hope you enjoyed the ride.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel for updates on our latest test drives, reviews, and automotive news.